I knew the moment my mother's eyes landed on the banner hanging above the restaurant stage. Congratulations on your freedom, Ellie, that she suspected something was wrong. Not because of the banner itself, but because I was the one who paid for tonight's celebration. And because I was smiling. Not the way a proud sister smiles. The way a surgeon does before the first incision, calm, assured, already knowing the outcome. She opened her mouth to speak, but I raised a hand. "Don't interrupt," I whispered. "I want you both to hear this." The microphone hummed softly in my grip. This was the moment I had been building toward for 6 long, silent years. Ellie and I entered med school together. Same acceptance letter day. Same tearful phone call. Same naive optimism. She was the golden child. Sunbright, charismatic, everyone's favorite. I was the quieter one. Steady, focused. The one who solved problems while she lit up rooms. We studied in the same libraries, collapsed on the same couches after 36-hour calls, stitched the same fake wounds on the same rubber skin. When our parents hugged us at white coat ceremony, I believed, foolishly, that pride flowed equally. But love in my family had always been rationed like medication. And Ellie's prescriptions were unlimited. Still, I trusted them. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. It started with a slip of the tongue. We were 3 months from graduation when my father casually mentioned he finished Ellie's loans. Just like that. Like he'd paid for a sandwich, not 6 figures of debt. I waited for him to continue, "We'll take care of yours next, sweetheart." But he didn't. He moved on. Some joke about parking. Later that night, I asked my mother why they helped her and not me. She didn't hesitate. Didn't flinch. "Honey, she deserves it more." As if I hadn't matched into the same program. As if I hadn't clawed my way through the same exams. As if my worth were measured in volume and not effort. Something inside me cooled, like a flame turning blue. That was the moment the betrayal became irreversible. But the true cut came weeks later when Ellie admitted, almost laughing, that she'd known the whole time. But she didn't want me to feel bad. She hugged me after saying that. I didn't hug back. I didn't scream. Didn't cry. Didn't ask for explanations they weren't capable of giving. Instead, I started collecting information. I learned their financial situation, their retirement vulnerabilities, their dependence on my eventual income, the ways they had quietly assumed I would help out once I was established. They thought I'd always be the dependable daughter. They'd made a critical error. They mistook silence for softness. So I planned. Patiently. Surgically. I watched as Ellie celebrated her debt freedom online. #blessed, #grateful, #family first. While my own debt buried me in interest. I made no move until the exact right leverage fell into my hands. And it did. 3 years into residency, Ellie made a mistake. A big one. A medication error she tried to hide. She called me, panicked, shaking. I guided her through the reporting process, step by step. Kept her license safe. Protected the golden child once again. But I didn't waste the opportunity. She owed me, and she knew it. So when her boyfriend proposed a debt-free celebration party and asked our parents to help fund it, I told her to let me host instead. "It's the least I can do," I said. She bought it. Of course she did. I rented the restaurant. I ordered custom menus. I hired a photographer. And I sent invitations to every extended family member who'd ever believed the narrative that Ellie was the shining star and I was merely orbiting her. Then I made one final move. 2 weeks before the event, I emailed our parents the repayment schedules they'd owe me for the money they'd borrowed from my future. I framed it as formal, final, already notarized. They laughed it off. "You're being dramatic," my father said. "Don't ruin the party," my mother added. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. So here we were, at Ellie's celebration, everyone watching, everyone smiling. I stepped onto the small stage, picked up the microphone, felt the weight of 6 years settle into my chest. Not heavy, but solid. "I want to congratulate my sister," I began. "Being debt-free is an incredible privilege." Ellie beamed. My parents relaxed. "And tonight," I continued, I want to share exactly how that privilege was funded. The room stilled. I recited the numbers cleanly. The payments. The dates. The inequality. The words my mother had used. She deserves it more, honey. Echoing through the sound system. My parents froze. Ellie's smile collapsed. And now, I said, placing 2 thick envelopes on the table in front of them. I'd like everyone to witness my parents receiving their repayment agreements. Effective immediately. My father sputtered. My mother reached for the envelope with trembling fingers. I wasn't finished. Ellie? I said softly, turning the microphone toward her. You once said you didn't want me to feel bad. I return the sentiment now. She looked at me with something I'd never seen in her eyes. Fear. I handed her a 3rd envelope. Inside was documentation of her near incident, the one I covered for her. A reminder. Not a threat. A boundary. For the first time in our lives, she understood I wasn't the quiet one. I was the precise one. I walked out before anyone could respond. The night air was cold, sharp, honest. People think revenge is loud, messy, explosive. But mine wasn't. It was measured, sterile, like closing a surgical wound. I didn't want to destroy them, just correct the imbalance. And as the door shut behind me, as my phone lit up with calls I didn't answer, I felt something strange settle inside my chest. Not guilt, not regret, just peace. A quiet, steady certainty. If they ever underestimated me again, it would be by choice, not by ignorance. And I don't give second chances.